Welcome to Cowboy Logic. We're going to change things up a little bit. Normally Donna brings us in, but I've got to say something, and we want to get it said right at the beginning of this show. On Tuesday, January 20th, late at night, was when President Trump, 1 year ago, signed the pardons for the J6ers, and those that were incarcerated were let out of prisons and jails. And we are grateful for that. But sadly, there are still some that are only at a commuted status. That means they can't get their rights back, they can't get their military VA benefits back, or their VA retirement back. I don't know how to break inside this bubble that President Trump is in to get him to sign pardons for these remaining J6ers. The vast majority of them, if not all, had no 111As or 111A1Bs.
So
A1Bs.
No violent charges.
That's right. They need to be pardoned.
Yep.
They've been hit with seditious conspiracy, and it's ruining their lives.
Yep.
And in the case of the Oath Keepers, they were assisting police.
Yeah. They had.
So it's time to do something, President Trump.
They had the okay to be there to protect the speakers.
Now, moving past that, we've got Unhinged Left that we have been covering on Cowboy Logic for 12 or 13 years. And about a week ago, it hit pretty close to home.
Yeah. Because
one of our beloved cameramen was assaulted in a public restaurant by an unhinged mother of three left-wing puke. And we're going to show you this video. Thank you, David Zier, for recording this.
Way too much. Swearing I can handle. That was way too much.
What the hell happened?
Keep going, kids. Keep going.
Yeah, hey. You don't even know her.
Yeah, I have no clue. Just the logo.
Oh, all right.
Are you recording? Alright, folks. I am simply here trying to have a nice dinner. My job reporting the news. Lady just cussed me out and threw a fireball in my face. Great.
She called you a fascist and a Nazi.
Oh, yeah.
He just got assaulted by one of your customers for no reason. She threw a drink at him
Drink in my face and
because she doesn't like the network we work for. Said we're fascist Nazis and assaulted us in front of her kids. Great example. Great example of mommy setting in front of her 3 children. Brandon, that's the intolerant left, right?
it is.
Okay.
Unbelievable. This is getting to be commonplace. Thank you, mainstream media, for spewing this hatred.
I can tell you from working with Brandon countless times that he's not only a great and skilled cameraman who's endured really crappy conditions at times with heat and weather, doing his job for Real America's Voice, but he's also a good friend. And something needs to be done about this because it's reprehensible. And David, again, thank you for getting that footage. David Zier, what a great, great human being. And we love your mom.
Yes, that's my new mom, David Zier's mom.
All right, you let us get that out of the way. Reprehensible behavior, yet once again by left-wing pukes that seem to hate our country, hate liberty, hate freedom, and hate us.
Yep. Ron, I'm going to switch things up a little bit. I want to play Lindsey Graham next. Folks, Jan 6 just left, was here and gone. And what a difference 5 years makes. Because some of the very rogue, I'm going to call them, rogue police officers that were there 5 years ago were suddenly helping out the people that were there commemorating the 5th anniversary of January 6th. I want to remind people what Lindsey Graham did that day.
Don't fire the video yet, Ron. How is it that President Trump is endorsing this guy?
All I can say is count me out. Enough is enough. I've tried to be helpful. And when it's over, it is over. It is over. The final thing, Joe Biden. I've traveled the world with Joe. I hoped he lost. I prayed he would lose. He won. He's the legitimate president of the United States. I cannot convince people, certain groups, by my words, but I will tell you by my actions that maybe I, above all others in this body, need to say this. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are lawfully elected and will become the president and the vice president of the United States on January the 20th.
Who is advising President Trump?
Now, let's look at his actions, by the way. He just voted against codifying Doge. I think we should forensically audit all of these lawmakers. Then you've got Tom Suozzi, who, thank you, GOP, who took George Santos's place. Suozzi's like the 180 from George Santos, totally anti-Trump. He said Jan 6ers, even just this past 5-year anniversary on January 6th, said that Jan 6ers should get 25 years in prison. Okay? Ben Berquam was there. Ben is just the best. There's nobody better. And then he went out to L.A., I guess, to cover news for Rav out there. And I'll tell you more about what's going on in L.A. in a second as well. But while he was at LAX, well, we'll let Ben tell you.
Ben Berquam is savage.
Who bumped into.
You're not going to believe who I just ran into at the airport. It's like my best friend now. Been so long. Adam Schiff. How you doing? Doing well. So, in the Senate, what do you think's going to get you first? The treason you committed against President Trump in his first 4 years, or the fraud in California?
You gotta take care of yourself, huh?
Yeah, I am. Just wondering, any family history, got a little bit of the Somali resemblance.
Yeah, he's gonna go full on bigot now, huh?
Why do you think we have so much fraud, though, being committed? And in Democrat cities and states? What do you think caused that? One last question. Do you think the fact that Eric Swalwell had an affair with a Chinese spy should disqualify him from being governor of California? Sir? Should that disqualify Eric Swalwell? Okay, I said that was the last question. The real last question. Is there any truth to the rumor that you...
This is my hair on minoxidil. This is my hair on finasteride. And this is my hair on this new at-home DHT blocker. This is...
You had something to do with Anthony Bourdain's suicide? Any truth to that rumor? I guess he's got nothing else to say. California, that's your senator. What a shame, guys. What an absolute shame. But there is something about the guy. I don't know if it's the Somali-shaped head. I don't know what it is, but keep praying for him.
Yeah.
Somali-shaped head.
Hey, listen, I'm sure you're all going to agree with me after you watch that entire video that had the extra bonus footage.
Yes.
You're going to agree that Ben Berquam has more moves than X-Lax.
Thanks to AI. I know he doesn't smoke either, but it looks
you
pretty
even
cool.
get what I just said?
Yes, I did.
More moves than X-Lax.
I have to ignore him when he does this stuff. He does look pretty cool smoking. I'm sure he doesn't smoke. He doesn't drink,
smoke.
But looks
he
pretty
might
cool.
dip. He's kind of a country guy. He might dip like I do, but
So he's out there in California.
more moves than X-Lax, Donna.
He's so bad. I mean, Swalwell is running for governor. Between Swalwell and Pencilneck, the two of these guys should have been looked at by the DOJ, our do-nothing DOJ. But Wall Street Apes is saying that Spencer Pratt, who wants to be the mayor of L.A., follow him, he's awesome. is now saying that Gavin Newsom gave direct orders to ticket Palisades victims when they tried to return to their burnt-out homes as many times as possible. Well, now the California Highway Patrol is saying, well, that's not necessarily the case. Well, I would say that Gavin Newsom's trying to fill his $18 billion deficit. CHP said, we have no records from January and October and November and December of last year. And Karen Bass, that commie Cuban, isn't helping either. Millions of illegals on the voter rolls, especially in California. And Gavin Newsom just continues this insane stuff that's going on against we, the people. Somebody's got to look into it. We'll be right back.
We reached out to Val about a month and a half ago and said, would you ever consider creating a Cowboy Logic collection of soaps and body butter? And she said, absolutely. So we had to come up with 2 or 3 scents, S-C-E-N-T-S, that were kind of indicative to what we do.
You told me that you had a guest bedroom in your house that had tack, saddles and tack in it. And so you were looking for something that was leathery. So that's what we've got. Tack room. Probably can't read it, but it is leather, bergamot, and musk, because I wanted a little more than just leather. I wanted to mix and match and tweak it a bit. And so it smells really good. I was actually pleasantly surprised with the smell. And then Barn Party, it's like this. It is hay, balsam, vetiver, and cinnamon. You said that you were kind of looking for something that would smell like a horse. And so I had to really do some serious research on what does a horse smell like?
Horses actually do have, we have a couple horses that have a real sweet smell to them.
All right, talk about Silver Fox.
This one was special just for Don. And he was telling me about the cologne that his mother had bought for him years ago. And he stopped using it after she passed because he didn't want it to run dry. And so I looked up the cologne. I'm not going to mention who or what it is, but I looked up the cologne. And because it's no longer made, they were able to post online their top notes, middle notes, and base notes. So I got them all.
Ladies and gentlemen, you want to get something cool, go pick up the Cowboy Logic collection, sugarcreekgoods.com. Use your promo code 1776. We're not making any money off of any of this. Any of the proceeds, the 20% of it, that Val makes, it's going to the J6ers.
Welcome back.
Deportation plane. New bumper. You like that?
Well, it's not happening fast enough, though, and they're voting. That's the problem. These people are getting Social Security numbers. You've got 20 million people that came across in the last 4 or 5 years, and they vote. You know, even Elon Musk is saying they're voting. So, you know what? What does this do? It affects your Social Security. Don is shaking his head because now he's got a...
He didn't think this shampoo would work. Men lose hair, especially after 35, so we made a shampoo that stops it. Guys who get these cheap drugstore shampoos don't understand how bad they actually are for your follicles. So we crafted one that prevents shedding, blocks DHT, improves blood flow to the scalp, reawakens hair.
Of work another 2 years.
I came home from work the other night and Donna goes, "You're screwed."
Apparently now the regular age, and I know you can get it earlier, but the regular age is now 67 for you to get fully there. And I think if you wait to 70, you get more. But if you do the math, you're much better taking it earlier. Okay, so Tommy Tuberville, who's saying, I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. He doesn't want to be in the Senate anymore. He's saying the federal government is wasting your Social Security money.
No.
Yes.
Say it's not so,
he's
Donna.
He's admitting it.
Does he have facts to back this up, Donna? Because surely the federal government wouldn't waste our money.
Well, let's let him tell us.
This is all a scam. I mean, we got people that's getting ready to retire that's going to try to live off $2,000 to $3,000. Impossible. It's impossible. Because what happens, it comes up here, we spend it. We're $35 trillion in debt. We don't have any money. We're dead broke. And then taxpayers have $2 trillion in credit card debt. We are in huge trouble. In this body, we had better start figuring that out, because we're going to have a run on this city here soon, and there's going to be about 150 million people coming up here saying, where's our damn money that we paid in? I could have put my Social Security money, 40 years, in tax in the market, and probably be worth 8 to 10 million today. But the federal government wasted it.
No kidding. And you know what else they're voting? They're voting not to codify Doge. There's all kinds of, it's not just Act Blue. It's Act Red, too. These smurfing, these small donations that they're getting into their campaigns that they're able to whitewash and hide. Now, the majority are Democrats, rather, but there's Republicans there, too. Lindsey Graham. All right, so apparently Social Security was only supposed to be 2% when it started. Now it's like over 12% every year. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when Al Gore, when he was running for president, used to talk about the lockbox. We got to have a lockbox. I mean, they just continue to kick the can down the road on everything. Tim Burchett has been appointed to head a new Doge committee. He said he's not playing around. He wants to produce legislation. He wants not a mutual, but he calls it a mutual butt-kissing society. He wants to stop that. And he said he's going to publicly embarrass anyone who stands in the way. Now, Minnesota is just the tip of the iceberg. I think California is far, far worse. And he wants to work with Elon Musk because he says we're not just $38 trillion in debt. We're $38 trillion. We have our spending problems. So let's see what Elon says about this.
Fake NGOs. I think there needs to be a number of arrests in that regard as well, because these are fake charities where mostly Democrats, almost, well, I don't want to be clear. There's sometimes a little bit of Republican in there because they sometimes throw the Republicans a bone to say, hey, be quiet about this. So that's where you start getting the uniparty thing going on. Mm-hmm. But it is overwhelmingly to Democrats, and they give give billions of dollars to NGOs run by Democrats that then go through a whole network of additional NGOs. It's a giant money laundering scheme. Really, at this point, I think the word NGO and money laundering are almost synonymous.
So there's your reason, why neither side wants to fix this. And quite honestly, I'm wondering why our DOJ doesn't want to fix this.
Here's the bottom line. And this is not rocket science. This is cowboy logic.
Yes,
if you've got a politician that is voting against something that you, the American people, feel strongly about, they're on the take.
Yep.
That's it. Nothing else makes any sense. Nothing.
It's really frustrating because then you realize it is a uniparty. They only care about CYA mode. I mean, that Arctic frost revealed that. Because you've got all these senators now, Republicans, and a congressman or two, saying we want $500,000 for every device we had because we were surveilled against our without our knowing it. But meanwhile, you can throw J6ers in prison for a few years, and we're going to hear from Kenny Harrelson some of the horrible things that he went through in prison that he saw, and yet nothing is happening with that as far as any kind of reparations. So Democrats, in my opinion, are getting a huge bump because all of these illegals that are coming in. Well, I have some voting statistics here. Those states without voter ID are 6 times more likely to offer benefits to illegals. Now, most of them are the blue states. It's about 67% versus maybe 4%. I mean, this is why you're seeing what's going on. Oh, just follow the money trail. What's going on in Minnesota, what's going on in every swing state, definitely in the 7 cities that were in question in the 2020 election. And I hope something can happen, as Harmeet Dillon supposedly is looking into this. But, I mean, this is just total insanity.
You people are running out of time.
Yeah.
You people are running out of time. The midterms are coming up. And you know what's going to happen if we flip this house. Do we have another video we have to play?
Well, it's a short one, and it's kind of humorous. So let me just tell you, I have some stuff like, you can't make this stuff up. The Oregon, and this again goes back to our education and how, as you saw, our kids are being indoctrinated to hate conservative voices or any voice that doesn't agree with their parents, apparently. Oregon governor signs a bill removing reading, writing, and arithmetic for high school kids to help students of color, so she says. And Zoran Mondami's housing aide, her mother, has a $1.6 million house in Tennessee, and she feels that housing fuels white supremacy. So she's going to take a lot of homes apparently away if she can. Meanwhile, you've got Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro saying, well, I'm leaving New York because I can't afford to live here anymore.
Let me just ask you this, Bobby. Don't move to the state of Georgia or any other red state, man, because we don't want you. We don't want you to bring your ideology and infect our state. Mm-hmm. So you voted for him.
Meanwhile, this is just something because, we're heavy here. I'm trying to lighten things up a little bit. Let's check out. I mean, obviously, white men have been attacked since God knows, married with children. OK, so let's check out this Emmy presentation.
And when was the last time a directing category had 5 women and 1 man? Now, yeah. I did not bother to look that up, but I think we all agree it was never. The Emmy goes to Philip Barantini.
You can't make this stuff up, dude. Open mouth, insert foot. I think DEI really does stand for diversity, equity, and incompetence.
Hey,
I mean, come on.
And we're going to get into DEI in the next 2 segments with a story that you guys probably haven't heard anything about. It's infecting the classical music industry. Big time.
It's infecting everything now at this point.
All right.
Big time.
I want to leave you with one thought. Ben Berquam has more moves than X-Lax. We'll be right back.
One way or another, you fall in line, or the CIA makes sure you're out of time. One way or another, you fall in line. One way or another, you fall in line. Economic hitman, I sell the future for a 5-star scam. Economic hitman, you wore your Porsche, your blood, your land. Economic hitman, all part of a master plan. Economic hitman, confess it now while I still can.
How my hair shocked everyone. My friends couldn't believe this was me before and after. Did you get a hair transplant? They asked.
One night in a Panama suite, ghosts of leaders I buried under Wall Street. Torrio smiling through the smoke said you still got time before you choke. I see the pattern, I see the game, every war's the same damn flame. So here's my confession, loud and clear. The empire's built on debt and fear. I sold the world for the corporate clan, but the truth's a blade and it cuts both ways. Now I'm burning down my own resume. Now I'm screaming it while the whole world stands. Wake up, rise up, break the chain before they hit you once again. I'm an economic hitman. I cashed the checks, I wore the crown.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Economic Hitman. It has not been released yet. And when it is, we'll let you know, and you can go try to help support. But, I was watching this press conference yesterday with Trump and the oil people, okay, talking about Venezuela. And the only thing that was going through my mind was this song that I wrote called Economic Hitman.
Yep.
It is
spot on, accurate.
That's right.
Absolutely.
All right. We have got a I'm very excited about this next guest. I just met this man, and I found that we've got a lot of similarities. But what we're going to talk about is DEI, the left, and how they're working together even in the music industry. So I tell you what, let's just bring James in, Ron. James, first of all,
James.
Appreciate you joining us on Cowboy Logic, my friend. The similarities, and when I saw an article about you, I reached out to you on X, and I said, hey, man, you don't know me from Adam, but can we talk? I went to the University of Tennessee. James auditioned in a blind audition, which he's going to tell you about, for principal clarinetist for the Knoxville Symphony Orchestra. My father conducted the Knoxville Symphony Orchestra back in the late 70s and early 80s when we were at University of Tennessee. I have played bass, guitar, with the Knoxville Symphony Orchestra. Thank God back then DEI wasn't there, or I probably wouldn't have been able to participate. But James, let's talk a little bit about what happened with the blind audition and the outcome of that for the Knoxville Symphony Orchestra.
Sure. Well, I'm a symphonic clarinetist by trade. I used to be in the Nashville Symphony for 12 years, from 2008 to 2020, until I got thrown overboard in a DEI mess. I'll explain that in a minute. But the Knoxville Symphony was my attempt to get back into the game. It's not too far from Nashville. I'm already well established here as a session musician, and my whole family and extended family lives in Nashville. So Knoxville seemed like an interesting opportunity to get back into the symphony game. If you want to get back into the symphony game, you have to win a blind audition. That means you have to compete against 2 days worth of candidates going one after the other behind a screen on stage alone, where the committee that's judging you cannot see if you are male or female or black or white or left or right leaning politically. They know nothing about you. They don't look at your resume. They don't know how many qualifications you have. You are judged solely on the merit of your playing. This is the way it should be. And if you win one of these auditions, you are then awarded a 1-year probationary contract in the orchestra to see if you're actually a good musician. Because if you're playing on stage alone with no other musicians around you and no audience, that doesn't tell the story of how good of a listener you are, or what your personality is, or how easy you are to play with in a team situation. So the standard process is blind audition, then probationary contract for a year, and then at the end of that year, they decide if they want to give you tenure and have you live happily ever after as the member of the orchestra. So I took the blind audition. I practiced for about 100 hours over the span of 2 months. That means 2 or 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, sometimes more like 6 hours a day if it was a weekend. My kids falling asleep to the sound of me practicing, waking up to the sound of me practicing, me just practicing like a madman to get into Olympic fighting shape for this competition, because the competition is stiff. These jobs are desirable. For example, when I won my blind audition in the Nashville Symphony in 2008, I was one of 300 candidates for just one job. So you can see how desirable these jobs are. Who would want a job like this? Playing music for a living. It sure beats working. And I'd know. Now I work in big tech. Nothing against big tech and the solidity and the 401k I get and the more money it makes than music. But tech is not what I do. It's not what I do. You know what I mean? So I took this blind audition last September. I prevailed at the end unanimously by vote, assuming that they would be hiring me for a 1-year contract. But 2 days later, instead of calling me to discuss my starting date, the CEO of the Knoxville Symphony, Rachel Ford, said, "We did some digging on you and your history in the Nashville Symphony, and because of a few issues that have come to our attention, we're not going to offer you a contract of employment. This is our final decision. We're not going to discuss this with you. Best of luck." So I was very disappointed by that, having thought that after they looked at my resume and saw my gap on there of having not played in a symphony for the past 5 years, they would have done the necessary background checks before inviting me and having me waste all this time auditioning or practicing for the audition. But I was wrong, and I was not entirely surprised that I'm not able to get another job despite prevailing in the meritocratic audition process. But my options were to walk away or to seek legal action. And that's what I'm doing. I filed a lawsuit against them. In December, I have a great foundation from Washington, D.C. who's taking me on. And I went public with it last Monday. Seems like a long time ago. That's 5 days ago as of this interview. And I'm making the rounds, talking about how DEI is still very much in control of the business and trying to keep out people like me with the wrong views. And we'll see where it goes. It's going to head to court. But for now, just trying to raise awareness and tell the story of how the arts are really suffering on the altar of DEI.
Wow.
All right, we've got about 2.5 minutes before we have to go to break. In the next segment, let's go back to the foundation of all this crap and talk about what happened in Nashville. I want to save that for the next segment. With the remaining time in this segment, first of all, I want to give you a serious hat tip to you and your wife, because you have chosen to homeschool your children, and our entire 1.5 million to 1.75 million viewers are standing in your corner or on the sidelines applauding you for being for taking on that responsibility and that burden of homeschooling your children. But I can tell you, your kids are going to be much better off, and you know that, or you wouldn't be doing it.
Thanks for recognizing that. My wife is a teacher by trade. She's a Western Kentucky hilltopper. She got her degree in education there and has had tons of experience teaching in fancy private schools here in Middle Tennessee. And she views it as a calling, as I do music. You know, my wife and I are not trying to get rich. We're trying to provide 3 beautiful young women for society to enjoy long after we're gone. And what better way to ensure the future of civilization than by creating people? And while homeschooling is not easy, it's not for the faint of heart, it is the only way to do it, we feel.
Yeah.
So I do a little music teaching.
This is what 92 hair washes can do in 6 months. Not 10 washes, not 30 washes, exactly 92.
I do a little bit of, bread teaching.
And, we're going to get into that too.
Sourdough bread, man. I love it. Hold on. We'll get to that. But, all right, we got a minute left. I just want to tell everybody, I mean, besides what you did in the Nashville Symphony, you were featured soloist on Grammy Award-winning recordings, video games, what music they used at SeaWorld, Madden, Call of Duty, and apparently Hershey, which is going to be released next year. I mean, you have an unbelievable resume. I'm old enough to remember EEO, Equal Opportunity Employment. I just don't understand how DEI is able to survive, because that's it's just illegal. It's totally illegal, because, you're supposed to be hired
it's surviving
on your merits.
because of leftist politicians and leftist judges. That's it. That's it.
That disregard the Constitution, which is totally illegal right off the bat.
Before we go to break, James, I just want to throw a little nugget out there for everybody to think about. The first day that we met Charlie Kirk years and years and years ago, he was denied entry to
West Point
because of DEI.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Cowboy Logic. We're going into the music world and how DEI has infected it. We'll be right back.
Patriots Relief, your America First CBD company. We are Christian, conservative, and committed to helping you feel your best. Are you tired of chronic pain holding you back? It's time for a change. Experience the remarkable healing properties of CBD, expertly designed to alleviate pain and promote internal balance. Patriots Relief is here for you. Visit our website or call now. Use your promo code to unlock exclusive savings. Patriots Relief, helping you get out of pain and live life to the fullest.
It is. This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the purge sanctioned by the U.S. government.
Every night they come for us, not by chance, by design.
Law enforcement isn't to prevent crime. Law enforcement solves crime.
The crime is down.
Leftist policies, opening the gates, releasing the monsters back into our streets to target the innocent, to purge America from within.
It's after police found the body of Dr. Julie Gard-Chanelli in the woods near a dog park in Auburn.
Tonight, we're following a developing story. A woman was shot and killed. It all happened in the middle of the afternoon, right along a busy street.
These criminals roam free in our country to offend again and again.
No one is safe. Not in our homes. Not in our parks. Not on our trains.
His name's DeCarlos Brown, 35 years old, he's homeless, and he's been arrested 14 other times.
They call it reform. We call it the early release.
If you release a monster will kill.
Radicalized judges, turning the judicial system into the purge. But one man is taking a stand. One man is fearless in the presence of evil. These godless policies end now. We're purging the purge.
We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country. We have to respond with force and strength. We have to be vicious just like they are. It's the only thing they understand.
Purge the Purge. That would be a great thing. In a lot of different areas, too. Don's going to attempt to play the clarinet using drumsticks.
Can be used to do absolutely anything, whether it's one of these massive COVID swabs or clarinet, by gosh.
No, that's not true. We are going to go to just an amazing, is it clarinetist?
That's right.
Clarinetist.
That's right.
Because I'm a flautist, although not anymore. James Zimmerman, again, on X. James, his whole name spelled out, as you see there, 2 M's and 2 N's at the end. James Zimmerman. Please follow him.
Yeah, go follow him. That's how I found this whole story, everybody, was on X.
But you are the primo clarinetist, really, in Nashville and Knoxville. Okay, you explained how once you get through that tenure after you pass an amazing audition with over 300 people auditioning in a blind audition, once you get that tenure, once you get that 1 year, then you're tenured. Okay, so that meant you were tenured, I'm doing the math here, and I suck at math, in Nashville Symphony from 2008 to 2020. So technically, you were tenured. So what happened?
I'll preface the story by saying that I hate telling this, and I wish I could put this all behind me. But as a result of this debacle in Knoxville, it's coming up again. So I'll tell it as quickly as possible. Yes, I was a star employee there. I was a featured soloist. I had tenure. I was active in our outreach programs with education. I did media. I was on the board of directors. I was on our elected committees for negotiating contracts. And I was a stellar employee in the eyes of management until in 2017, we hired an oboist for a temporary position. Sometimes you have to fill a vacancy in an orchestra without a blind audition. So you just pluck somebody from the pool. This young man was black. He had been a finalist in 15 orchestral auditions. 15 times he had made the very finals and not closed the deal at the end. He said this is because of systemic racism in orchestras. At the time, it was not common for orchestras to have the screen up in the final round of an audition. They would remove the screen when it was down to 2 or 3 players. So his contention was that he was being the victim of systemic racism. I took this guy under my wing. I coached him up for the blind audition that he was taking to get his job permanently. Because as a temporary player, to get the job and get tenure, he needed to go against the national pool of candidates behind a screen. So I brought him to my house. We had dinner together. He dined with my family. He was a friend. And I texted him a couple of weeks before the audition. I have it in print. Man, I really want you to win this job. Like, I want to do everything I can to help you win because I want Nashville to have the first black oboist in a major orchestra. It'd be so great for the people that care about that stuff. It'd be so great for you to finally break through. So he took the blind audition. He was the last man standing in the blind audition, just as I had hoped he would be. And during deliberations, our conductor and the other musicians in the orchestra found out it was him. His identity was compromised, and they tried to fire him. The conductor said, we're going to get rid of this guy because we don't like playing with him for the last couple years. And
if you have diabetes, this anti-diabetes recipe flushes sugar from your blood and drops glucose.
We're never going to tell him we did this. The secret stays in this room. And I stood up for my black friend and said, absolutely not. He won a blind audition. He went against the whole pool of candidates. We need to put him on that probationary year and see if he gets better now that he has earned our respect in a blind audition. So I reversed the outcome. But then the whole thing became about racism and DEI from then on. That really turned the tables in this guy's mind. Think about how awful that would be if you're this black oboist. You've been playing in the orchestra at the Nashville Symphony for 2 years. That's 100 concerts or more. You win a blind audition. Your colleagues find out it's you. They try to get rid of you and lie to you about it. Can you imagine how angry that would make you? It made me. I was livid that my colleagues and my conductor would try to do this. And I said, absolutely not. We don't treat people like that in America. We certainly don't treat black people like that in America. Where do you think all these allegations of racism comes from? It comes from stuff like this. And I'm ashamed of being a part of an institution that would treat a black man like this. So I got him the I got him the job. He would be gone without me. And then he and his friends turned on me because I'd been pushing back against his ideology for a while. You know, I didn't like the struggle sessions he was putting us through. I didn't like the diversity luncheons we were having to go to. I didn't like being told that my language was racist. I didn't like being told that because I voted for Donald Trump, I was racist. So I said, you know, I don't think any of this has any place in the workplace. I think we need to focus on playing music here, and then we need to go home. We can leave our politics elsewhere.
Yeah.
But these libs won't leave you alone. They will not work with you if you are on the right. I was happy to keep it to myself for many years. So ultimately, the black oboist and a friend of his, another black guy that they hired without a blind audition, came up with a Jussie Smollett-like story and complained about me nonstop, made up a story that I was stalking them, being racist to them, hating them, trying to get them fired. It's all preposterous. All my coworkers are quoted in the Washington Free Beacon article that came out the year after saying, none of this stuff is true. It's all made up. But the symphony stood behind their black oboist because if they didn't, he was going to sue them for racial discrimination for trying to fire him illegally. It's a story of blackmail. It's a story of lies. I took the fall for the entire thing, and they got away with it completely. I couldn't sue them because I didn't have enough money. The union refused to grieve my firing according to our contractual process. So these people totally got away with it. The Nashville Symphony totally got away with it. And now they are getting away with communicating with the Knoxville Symphony, telling them I'm a dangerous person, pointing to my worst mistakes, and keeping me out of the business forever. So,
you know,
this whole lawsuit...
Yeah, the whole thing, you're working, if this guy is black, you'd think they'd want him immediately without you having to fight for him too. I mean, it's kind of all over the place. I'm sorry, continue.
Well, yeah, you're right. It's so senseless. And a lot of people don't, especially in 2019 when this was all happening, hadn't been thinking far enough ahead. They were drinking the Kool-Aid, listening to the media saying Donald Trump is racist and so are all his supporters. They're Nazis. They're bad people. They're misogynists, you know, all the name calling.
Well, yeah, 2020 had a whole different mindset. You got to realize, I'm surprised they didn't make you play the clarinet with, you know, a hole in a mask or something. I mean, that was what was...
Yeah, I was kicked out before the COVID era hit. I would have gone down for fighting against vaccine mandates. It had come to that. But this lawsuit is about pushing back against these people still in control of institutions, using them as weapons to destroy their political opposition. I would like to get back to an era when all we do when hiring musicians and orchestras is care about their playing. And Knoxville could have asked me, hey, what's the deal with this very far-fetched story of you being dangerous? Why didn't they ask me? Why didn't they do any investigating? Why did they just shut me down? It's cruel. It's awful. And they're using me to make a political statement now, too.
Yeah,
that's how the left operates.
The thing that they have to do it with a symphony is insane. It's in every single walk of life. DEI is diversity, equity, and incompetence, in my opinion, because that's really what... I mean, I horseback ride. That's probably about the only thing where you either win or you don't, because the horse has to clear the fence.
You got judges in that.
That's true.
Hey, we got about a minute left, James.
One thing to say.
Yes.
If I'm so racist and I'm so against hiring black people, then why was I the only one to stand up for the black guy? Why doesn't anyone ever talk about that part of the story? Why doesn't anyone ever talk about the time where I coached him up for free or stood up for him or advocated for him? Why does that get all swept under the rug? It's just narrative warfare.
Because it doesn't meet their narrative.
Yeah.
Hey, you got about 20 seconds. Got about 20 seconds. If our viewers want to reach out to you, first of all, they can follow you on your X account. But can they instant message you or direct message you if they want to help you in some way?
Yeah. I'll be doing a legal defense fund soon. You can call me a grifter all you want, but this is costing me a little money. I'm not looking to make money here. I'm looking to do the right thing. So follow me on X, and I'll talk to you there.
At James Zimmerman.
2 M's and 2 N's.
2 N's at the end.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, James.
The left.
It's insane.
We'll be right back.
It's totally insane. Or the drums.
Welcome back to Cowboy Logic, everybody. And you barn party drummers are epic.
Yep.
I always say you guys rock.
We do.
I'm going to say you're
they do.
epic.
Yep.
And you need to get your own Cowboy Logic
Laser.
barn party drumsticks. Tell us about it, Donna.
CowboyLogicLaser.com. That's Ron's company. And he can make these for you. And
they come in pairs.
They're very cool.
They don't. It's not one. It's not a stick. They come in pairs.
They come in pairs.
That's right. They're drumsticks.
Why
it's
would
not
they not come in
drumstick.
pairs?
It's not like the big COVID swab that I did. All right. We also have to say Dana.
Yeah.
Say it.
Dana.
Okay. All right. Let's get down to business. We've got a dear. This is one of the closest people that we have in our little orbit. Everybody is our next guest. We love this man.
And it's been a while since we've had him on because he's doing some other things. But now that he's semi-retired.
That he couldn't talk to us about.
Right. Now that he's semi-retired, we're going to bring him on. That is one Judge Hal Morose. First of all, there he is.
How you doing, Judge?
And he is retired.
Doing great.
Retired.
Glad to be back with the family.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, let me do your intro here. Retired Georgia judge, distinguished Army career. You said you jumped out of perfectly good airplanes. But more importantly, you married us about 5.5 years ago.
That's right.
At the Red Pill X.
Imagine waking up every day without that constant fear, without having to prick your finger, without feeling that exhaustion that keeps you stuck in bed. For 15 years, I thought that was impossible. I found out I was wrong. There's a hidden truth about type 2 diabetes that no one is telling you. It's not about what you eat. It's not about how many times you go to the gym. It's about something microscopic living inside your body right now.
Expo put on by the great G. Edward Griffin. And
we broke a record.
Yes.
We believe this could have even been a worldwide record, Judge, because in October of 2020, when COVID was being marketed as the greatest threat to humankind, we had like 360 people attend our wedding that you presided over. And I think that is a record.
Yes. And Stuart Rhodes.
I didn't see one mask in the audience.
No,
It was
and Stuart Rhodes and the Oath Keepers did security. And when we brought Stuart on years later after January 6th, he goes, "Oh yeah, that was you." That was so funny because that's what they do. They do security.
Yep.
Anyhow, you've written a ton of books. It's Morning in America again, Breaking Trust with the Constitution, America at Sunset, Armor of the Republic, so turn to page 88 on that one, because I think we're mentioned. And in 2018, you wrote things about the life and the tweets of Donald Trump, and you said more to come. So now I think you got a lot more to work with.
We're ready for the next version of that.
All your stuff can be found on Amazon, Books A Million. They're very easy reads. 2020, The Making of a Supreme Court Justice. Okay, that's where I want to start. Ketanji Brown Jackson. Boy, she's just a winner in my book. And I would say that she is possibly an auto pen assignment there.
Appointment.
Is there a possibility that we can axe her from the Supreme Court?
I think the chances are quite slim because they've been accepted or she's been accepted by the court. I am a member of the Supreme Court bar, so I am obliged to never hold members of that court in disrepute. But I can tell you this, DEI dominated the United States. And unfortunately, DEI dominated not only our bureaucracies in America, but it also penetrated the Supreme Court. And I'm saddened by that. I'm more saddened by the loss of our constitutional rights. And I think that's evident in the state of affairs that exists today, Donna. Don, your audience, I think in the last 5 years, we have lost our Constitution. We've lost our fundamental freedoms that are embodied in the first 5 freedoms of the First Amendment to the Constitution. And thank God we have a Second Amendment that's still holding strong, and that's designed to safeguard the first 5 freedoms. I think the J6 event was a travesty because it allowed the government to take away certain rights. What were those rights? Well, they were rights to assemble, to speak, to redress our grievances with the government. And the heavy hand, I think, of the FBI and many of our federal institutions let us down. And like President Reagan said, we are one generation away from losing our freedoms. It has to be taught. It has to be reinforced. And unfortunately, we have lost the Constitution at this time. It's not forever, but I think President Trump is making major inroads to stemming that tide and perhaps reversing it. That's what I hope. But I know programs like this, Cowboy Logic, the love you guys have for this country, for the Constitution, for our freedoms, is the last best hope for America, my friends.
Oy. Well, let me ask you this. How can you become a judge and not follow the Constitution? I mean, it's clear as day there. It's a couple pages.
Donna, it's like lip service is being paid. We have a new mayor in New York who takes an oath of office on the Quran, and he swears to uphold the Constitution. I would argue that civilization and the Quran are incompatible. And I know that's not a popular thing. People don't like hearing that, but it's the truth. We have been in a millennial struggle with Islam, the most radical parts of Islam. And the very sad tragedy is 25 years after 9/11, we now have a Muslim mayor in New York who I believe is an insurrectionist at heart. And I believe his words prove that out.
Well, if you're Sharia compliant, that just comes with the territory. And that is the problem. And now, again, like you say, having a mayor like that and the Muslim call to prayer now all over New York City, less than 25 years after 9/11, it's reprehensible.
Judge, you ran for Supreme Court for the state of Georgia, and we endorsed you, and we really actually thought we were going to be able to celebrate together on a victory. You got about 3 minutes before we have to go to a break, but we're finding that almost everything that happened in 2020 in the state of Georgia is exactly what we were all chastised for talking about in 2020 and 2021. What have you found? What have you learned that you can talk about, at least, with regard to Fulton County and all of the nefarious things that appear to have happened in the state of Georgia in 2020 and 2022?
Well, I think the evidence is clear, and that evidence is this, that Metro Atlanta corrupted that election. And that's not just me talking. That's the videos we see. Even President Trump gave out a tweet on X that highlighted the discrepancies there in Fulton County. We have a lot of good people in Fulton County, but unfortunately, many, many more are very active in undermining our elections. They're not only active in undermining elections in Georgia, but as we know, across the country. Isn't it interesting that Kamala Harris won every state that does not require voter ID? That should tell us something, that the Democrats have perfected cheating, and they will continue to do that until we have voter ID, that we have common sense voting. Like what? How about same-day voting? How about only allowing those who are infirmed and that has been verified, and the military voting? Why not have only those two categories as mail-in?
Yeah.
This ludicrousy of having mail-in even if you didn't want it. And if you recall, that's how it was in 2020 in Georgia. The Secretary of State, Raffensperger, he sent out mail-in ballots to everyone.
Yep.
And you didn't even have to ask for it. And my friends, that is a path to fraud. And it's a path that we can see highlighted in Minnesota right now, where the Somalians have taken such advantage of America's charity, of America's grace. Our founders said the Constitution was meant for a Christian and good people. That's what the Constitution was meant for. But yet now we have people who are using the Constitution to undermine it.
Yeah.
And that's a tragedy. I always hear people say this.
Hold on, Judge. We got to go. We got a hard out here.
You got me on a roll.
Hold on. We're going to pick. Don't forget where you're at.
He's on a roll.
We're going to pick right back up with our dear friend, Judge Hal Morose, who happened to marry us in October of 2020. We'll be right back.
This is the oddest 30-second ritual I've ever seen dropping sugar levels. So fast. Harvard researchers just confirmed something.
Confidence that a good pickup man brings to an event. Nobody will ever give him credit for it. Thousands and thousands of miles driven, hundreds and hundreds of hours of being a good steward, and a horseman will never be recognized. But that one instant when he might have saved your son, your brother, your friend, by being in the right place at the right time.
Wiping out narco terror, President Trump and J.D. Vance. America they love. They're protecting our shores. You're not welcome here. We're declaring war. No more drugs. Ladies and gentlemen, back to Cowboy Logic!
The drug boat. You know, we laugh about it.
Yeah, we do.
Think how many things,
yeah, we do laugh about it.
Think of how things have changed now. We'll see what Maduro has to say as he languishes in a Brooklyn prison.
Hey, drugs kill.
Yeah.
Period. So let's kill drug dealers.
Well, I'm actually seeing some stories now. Because of the lack of drugs, a lot of people are on withdrawal now, having withdrawal symptoms now. I mean, this is what that's a whole nother segment. I want to bring back our Judge Hal Morose and our good friend. Again, he is the man who married us 5.5 years ago.
Hey.
What? Yep, there they are.
Still wearing them, Judge. Never take them off.
And you can find his stuff.
I'll tell you what, Donna, one of the best things I did, and it surpasses running for the Georgia Supreme Court in 2020, was marrying you two, because I see God's hand in your life and our nation, and I am really appreciative that you gave me the honor to marry the both of you. And it was a great honor and privilege.
That was our honor,
Thank you.
actually.
Yeah.
I should mention, too, you did a lot of work with veterans. I'm hoping things can turn around a little bit here with this Trump administration. And again, I think you should do another book on Trump's tweets because there's a lot to work with now. But you do have a ton of books. They're easy reads. They're really great. But I should turn your attention to Armor of the Republic, page 88. Just so you know. Amazon, Books A Million.
What a shameless plug, Donna.
On
Go
Kindle,
for
you
it,
can
Donna.
get
I
it.
love you.
And again, moroselaw.com for all of his information. All right, so, everybody's talking suddenly 5 years later. I guess it's the statute of limitations. Oh, gee, we found 315,000 votes we can't verify here in Georgia. And here's what annoys me so much, and I love Trump. But he gets up there and he says, we won, we won, we won. Yeah, he did win. But the RNC is working against him. The RNC is pushing for early voting. He's pushing for same-day voting with voter ID. I mean, that's total polar opposites. And we saw, like you mentioned in the previous segment, how that leads to fraud with the early voting and the machines and the drop boxes and all this other stuff. Well, the down ballot, I feel, was affected. I mean, it very well could have affected your race. It very well, in my opinion, means we probably lost 12 congressional seats at least and possibly 5 senatorial seats in the down ballot. There's no way in Arizona Ruben Gallego should have won after Trump won Arizona. And they're not looking at that. Is there something
Well, not to mention our 2 U.S. senators.
Yeah, we have 2 bogus senators. There's no doubt in my mind. So what can we do about this legally?
Don, I wish I could say, hey, we can just wave a wand. I think the president is doing what he can, but I think there is such an entrenched bureaucracy that arrests need to be made, need to be made examples of. And I pray to God that our director of the FBI grabs hold of that organization, because I am convinced they were behind the J6 insurrection, if you will, that day. There is nothing unlawful about assembling. That's in our First Amendment. There's nothing wrong about freedom of speech. There's nothing wrong about redressing grievances with government. And how on earth do you prosecute people and go after people when you have Capitol Police waiving these U.S. citizens exercising their right under the First Amendment? How on earth do you arrest them? Do you suspend their constitutional rights and keep them imprisoned for such a long time? It's unheard of. And as much as I love what's going on with the drug traffickers and Maduro, I fear that if the Democrats gain control again of the White House and the Congress, we will see these charges go away from Maduro. Because there is a vested interest, I believe, in perpetuating this narco drug trafficking. And we have turned into, unfortunately, a minor Sodom in our time. There is such evil across our land. We see that right now in Minnesota, in your face. We see that with our ICE officers. We see them perverting the law. We now cannot defend ourselves, and God forbid you defend yourself if you are a law enforcement officer, because you will be crucified for that. Even if you're not brought up on charges, your family will suffer. We saw Biden do that, if you recall, with the border agents in Texas, when Biden was claiming they were being strapped like slaves of old. Nothing but lies. He jumped to conclusions, and now they're all over the president for defending what is an obvious, legitimate, and lawful use of force by that officer in Minneapolis when he fired at that lady, the mother of 3. And that's a whole nother story. I know your listeners are tuning in